Tonight on Best Bits, it's Submission Central. The UFC takes a firmer stance on eyepokes, but it doesn't help. But Cortes-Acosta doesn't care. Steve Garcia destroys David Onama. Welcome back to Best Bits. Today we're going to be recapping UFC Fight Night Vegas 101. Steve Garcia versus David Onama. I mean, wasn't that bad of a card, to be fair. I mean, we'll get into it. So first up, we had Alan Carr versus Kenalosi. Still don't know her name. Still don't know how to say it. She lost anyway. We had Alan Carr. We thought Alan Carr was going to win it by a decision. But I did say in the prediction video, there's potential for a submission from Alan Carr here. Watch for a submission later in the fight. And lo and behold, 30 seconds on the clock. Rear naked choke submission in the third round. So that was alright. We did have a by decision though, officially. The official pick was by decision, so that's a little bit unfortunate. But if you were paying attention, you might have got a bit of money off of a submission finish right there. Next up, we had Seok-Young Ko versus Philip Rowe. We were back in Asia. We said we thought it was a mistake. We always do. It doesn't pan out. It panned out this time. It panned out. We got the win. Unanimous decision. I was thinking there was going to be a TKO in this fight, to be honest with you. But there you go. It goes to a decision, and Ko wins it unanimously. So pretty decent back and forth. Not really an amazing showing for either fighter, if we're being perfectly honest. Next up was Alice Ardelin versus Montserrat Conejo Ruiz. Boring fight. Said it was going to be boring. It was a boring fight. Said it would go to a decision. It did go to a decision. We picked Ardelin to win this decision. Spot on. Not really much to say about it. It was as boring as we needed to have the fight, I suppose. They need to give the obligated contractually to give them fights. So there's the fight, I guess. And it was indeed a fight. It was a fight that occurred on a UFC card. Next up was Norma Dumont versus Ketlin Vieira. We had Ketlin Vieira, I think. I think we had Ketlin Vieira. Or did we go with Norma Dumont? I can't even remember. It was a split decision anyway, and I said it would go to a close one. I did say it would go to a decision. I did say it would be a little bit close. Off the top of my head, I can't remember who I picked. I remember it being fairly close odds-wise. And for some reason, I think I picked Ketlin Vieira. I think. No, did I go with Norma Dumont? I can't even remember. Who cares? It was boring anyway. I suppose it doesn't really matter in the end. Bit of a boring fight. Went to a split decision. I did say it would be close. Did I even say a split decision? I might have done. And I said it would be close. I don't even remember who I went with. That's how close it was. We'll say Ketlin Vieira. We say we lost this one. Why not? We don't really care. It was a boring fight anyway. On to the next one. We've got Dante Johnson versus Cedric Dumas. We went with Johnson. We went with the crowd. We said, you know what? Let's not be crazy. Let's go with the crowd. We thought we were going to get a TKO. We did rock him. We did knock him down and rock him, and finish him with a guillotine choke. So it was pretty good. It was pretty decent. Cedric Dumas, not that good. Let's be honest though, decent showing. Getting it done in the second round, getting close in the first. I don't know. Not a good showing for Cedric Dumas, but not really a fan favourite anyway. So we'll just move right on from that. I do believe Johnson got fight of the night, performance of the night. Okay, performance of the night for that. Pretty good, pretty decent finish to be fair. Can't argue with the bonus award. Can't argue with that. Next up was Timmy Chiwamba versus Kang Ho Lee. We had Lee for this one. We backed Asia again, and I was more confident in this one. I don't rate Timmy Chiwamba that highly, but man, he made it a fight. He made it a scrap. It did say in the prediction that he can make it a scrap. I just don't think he'll be able to. And man, he was able to. He made it a scrap. He made it dirty. He made it filthy. He made it into a brawl rather than a clean fight, and it panned out for him. It panned out really well for him, and he managed to get the unanimous decision. Shame for Lee. We thought Lee was going to get a finish. You can't win them all. It's crazy that it kind of flipped on me. I was more confident in Lee beating Timmy Chiwamba than I was in Hyunko beating Phil Rowe. I thought Hyunko would beat Phil Rowe. Wouldn't have as easy a time beating Phil Rowe, and Lee would be able to knock out Timmy Chiwamba. So bit of a crazy one, but Timmy Chiwamba gets it done by unanimous decision. What a guy! I just can't seem to figure out Chiwamba. I just can't seem to figure him out. When I'm like, you know what, maybe, you know, he doesn't manage to pull it off. Anyway, on to the next one. Billy Alicana versus Kevin Christian. We went with Alicana. Alicana gets it done. Drops him, chases him down, gets the submission. Pretty damn good. I mean, what else can be said about it? There was a little bit of like eyepoke warning, so Christensen was leaving his fingers out there. He was getting fruity with those fingers, and I guess because of previous events with the Aspinall eyepoke and the controversy around that, the refs had been told to like keep an eye out for it. So before there was even an eyepoke, there was a warning given to Kevin Christensen. You know, you watch those fingers, keep those fingers down. Don't be doing all this fruity stuff, and you know, move on. And then immediately after, Billy Alicana drops him, chases him down to the ground, and gets the rear naked choke submission. So you know, a bit of attempt to enforce the eyepoke rules from the UFC. Pretty good to see. But later on we'll realise that it didn't really help much because, yeah. Anyway, Alan Nascimento versus Cody Durden. We went with Nascimento. By submission. So pretty happy with this one. Seems to have got an award according to another performance of the night for Alan Nascimento. So that's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. I think for a moment I was considering Cody Durden, and why on earth I did that, I have no idea. I have no idea. But yeah, glad we went with Nascimento in the end. Glad we went with the submission as well in the end. First round, no, second round submission. My mistake. Second round submission. Bloody damn good from Alan Nascimento. But yeah, glad we went with that pick. Glad we switched up mid-vid for that one. Next up, we've got Charles Radke versus Daniel Frunze. I mean, we knew Radke was going to take this one. Beat him down, wore him down. Constant submission attempts, constant ground and pound. Wore him down, ground him down, and managed to get the submission at the end of the round, at the end of the third round, towards like the end of the fight. I think like 40 seconds on the clock, something like that. About 40 seconds on the clock, 30 seconds on the clock, something like that. Yeah, 30 seconds on the clock. I can do maths. 30 seconds on the clock. Yeah, pretty decent fight actually. Just a really good show from Charles Radke. Just dominant from start to finish. A complete shutout. Would have been a unanimous decision. Possibly even a 10-8 round in there, to be honest with you. Just total domination of Frunze. I thought maybe Frunze would give him a bit more of a challenge in my prediction video, but no, Radke just ran away with the whole thing. So, brilliant performance from Radke. I'd like to see him against some higher caliber of opponents after that complete shutout, to be honest with you. Next up, Isaac Dulgarian versus Yida Del Valle, or Devalier, however you pronounce it. Man, there was some sussy stuff going on. So I had money on Dulgarian, and then all of a sudden the betting line started going crazy, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna have to throw some money on Yida here. I have to throw some money on him. So I did, and it panned out really well. Was doing good on picks anyway beforehand, but we switched up right there and then. We followed the crowd once again. We listened to the crowd, and we followed this week. I don't know why we did it, but it kind of panned out for us. Yeah, something sussy was going on. There was a fix. Something leaked from the Dulgarian camp. Maybe he was injured. I don't even know. I need to take a look. But there was a little bit of like, from here on out it gets a little bit controversial, and just a little bit controversial. Yeah, very strange. I think they closed the bets at one point because the line changed so dramatically. But yeah, I put Deval on by submission in round one. I had a feeling. I thought, you know, Bulgarian's injured. We'll go for it then, and it did pan out. So I don't know what's happened there. Really don't know what's happened there. Be interesting to find out though. Be interesting to find out what leaked or who told who what. Might have another James Krause. Might have another James Krause situation where we've just got a Discord running somewhere with a bunch of leaked information on injured fighters and whatnot. Next up, we've got Jeremiah Wells versus Thamba Garimbo. We went with Thamba Garimbo, and Jeremiah Wells managed to get the unanimous decision. Thamba Garimbo came out strong in round one, was putting it on him, and I guess he gassed out. I don't really know. You know what? Both of them were gassing. I did say if it goes 3 rounds, both are going to start gassing. I don't know, man. Pretty difficult fight to call for me anyway. I just didn't think Jeremiah Wells would get it. But yeah, not much really to say about that. It was a little bit. It got more boring as the fight went on, as they got tireder. But yeah, on to the next one. And now we get into a little bit more controversy. So Waldo Cortes-Acosta was fighting Ante Delija. Now, Ante Delija is training partner, teammate of Tom Aspinall, and after last week's situation, he had gone on record and he had said, "I find it strange. I've never poked anybody in the eye in my entire career, and I never will." And then in the Waldo Cortes-Acosta fight, nearly fumbled his name there. Delija manages to poke him in the eye. Now he goes for he kind of feints a jab, and Waldo Cortes-Acosta parries the hand away, and the fingers of Delija extend, and he catches Waldo in the eye, and it looks sussy as fuck. But Waldo Cortes-Acosta takes a few more shots after that, and it looks like the fight stopped. Delija goes and celebrates with his corner. People flood into the cage. Costa's corner's looking very disappointed. Delia's celebrating like he's managed to get a victory. And then they're like, no, the fight's still going. We're checking the replay. There's an eyepoke. So we're enforcing the eyepoke now. So this could be a no contest. They're telling Waldo Cortes-Acosta this is going to be a no contest. Waldo Cortes-Acosta says, and I quote, "Nah, let's continue. I ain't a pussy." They restart the fight, and almost instantly, Waldo Cortes-Acosta counters a jab, comes right over the top with a big right hand, drops Ante Delija, follows him to the ground and pounds him out, finishing the fight. Damn, calls out Tom Aspinall in the post fight. Crazy, man, crazy to see. And his eye looked bad as well in the post fight, in the press conference as well. His eye looked bad. It looked bad immediately after the fight as well. It looked really bad. Like he caught a bad like little finger, maybe second from little finger, right to the corner of his eye. Looked pretty nasty, but he continued and he managed to get the knockout as well straight away. Just boof, lands it on him. So yeah, really good performance from Waldo Cortes-Acosta. We picked them as well. We picked Waldo Cortes-Acosta, and we picked him by knockout as well. Crazy. Yeah. Normally I'm biased. You see, you thought I was going to be biased and I was going to pick Ante Delija. A lot of you people don't watch. A lot of you people don't watch the prediction videos. I don't blame you, but you know, I'm normally biased. Normally I'd be going with Ante Delija, but I had a feeling about Waldo Cortes-Acosta, and it panned out. And finally, the main event. No controversy here. Someone said early stoppage. I don't think so. Steve Garcia absolutely dismantles David Onama inside of a round. Just picks him apart. David Onama doesn't really get going. Kind of a slow starter, I suppose, in David Onama, and Steve Garcia just immediately put the pressure on him, kept it aggressive, kept it angry, just kept pushing forwards, and landing shots as well. David Onama would land the jab, and then Garcia would step into the jab, eat it, and land like a 4-piece combination. Really great work from Steve Garcia. Really good boxing work from Steve Garcia. I would get him a decent opponent next. I would honestly, I'd get him a ranked opponent next. Get a ranking next to his name. Or let's try and get him a ranking next to his name, because his hands are really good. He's really good boxing, and I'd like to see how he stacks up against someone who mixes it up with the kicks a bit more than a David Onama. Someone who can try and keep him at bay with those kicks and try and stifle the boxing and stifle the range of Steve Garcia. Would be good to see next and see how he kind of deals with that puzzle. But yeah. Bit of controversy, bit of drama. The narrative now for the Tom Aspinall eyepoke has gone crazy. Like, Ante Delija, training partner and teammate of Tom Aspinall. Oaks opponent in the eye. It's a nasty eyepoke, it's a bad eyepoke. Waldo Cortes-Acosta, after being poked in the eye, takes his 5 minutes. Says he wants to continue. They let him continue, and then he finishes Delija right there and then. Man, the storylines, the narrative's crazy. Then he calls out Aspinall. He even said going back into the fight, like, yeah, I'm not a pussy, we're doing this, restart the fight. It doesn't look good for Aspinall. It's bad for the storyline. It's not good. I don't know, maybe the only saving grace is that Tom Aspinall's was a double eyepoke and Acosta's is a single eyepoke. Who could say? But yeah, really interesting card. Not the most entertaining, I'll be honest with you. It wasn't crazy, or like a sleeper of a card or anything like that. Don't believe anyone who tells you that. It was an okay card for an Apex Fight Night. It was an okay card. Absolutely no crowd. I need to finish with this. Absolutely zero crowd. By the way, there was moments like during the main card where it was dead silence and it was like watching Pride. You know, where the Japanese audience doesn't say a thing, it doesn't make a sound. It was like that, completely silent. I know it's the Apex, I know it's a small crowd, but it's like they didn't mind this. They've upgraded the Apex. They've added more seats to the Apex, and they can't sell the seats they've got. Embarrassing, mate. Embarrassing. Putting on trash cards like this. Like we could have had a Steve Garcia David Onama matchup. Could have just put something else ahead of it. You know. Fair enough, they got to headline a card, and it was a bit of experience for everyone who was headlining and co-maining. But at the same time, it's just what was the point? Let's give them an audience to do it in front of them, because now they've just headlined in front of like the UFC staff and their family and friends. Seemed a bit pointless. But yeah, I think that concludes the video. I think that concludes best bits and the recap that goes with it. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, subscribe, leave a like. Got more banging content on the way. I've got banging content for you to watch. So until next time, keep your chin down and keep swinging. Peace and love. I'll see you around.